What's going on, guys? It's J-Ho bringing you a brand new video, and today I want to talk about some of the news that we just learned about in regards to the sequel to Destiny. So on February 9th, Activision had their earnings report for all their games, and we saw a confirmation on there in regards to Bungie and Destiny, and Destiny 2, the sequel to Destiny, is going to be coming out in 2017. So it's going to be coming out this year. It didn't get delayed like how we found out last year at this same report that Destiny 2 was going to be postponed until 2017. So now it is still on course for 2017. Probably going to be coming out in the fall. There was also an article by Kotaku that talked about that as well. So we're probably going to see it in the fall just because Bungie does like to bring things out in the fall, especially in the month of September. So September 2017 is probably what we're looking at in terms of the sequel to Destiny, and we're probably going to get more information on that, especially at E3, since that's a big event that's going to happen before fall 2017. So can't wait to hear more information on all of that. Bungie themselves is probably going to do some live streams, probably talking about the sequel and all the new content coming out in terms of Destiny 2. So we have that to look forward to, since they do like to post their own information by live stream through Twitch and reveal some big stuff there as well. So all of that is really exciting news. Can't wait to hear more information on that. And then also we got information from Bungie themselves through their most recent live stream on the upcoming hotfix coming on February 14th next week. So I took a look at some of the changes that they made. I'm not going to go through all of them here because you guys probably already saw a majority of it, but I want to give you guys a little bit of my thoughts. Not really too long on this, but a little bit of my thoughts on some of these changes that they're making to Crucible or PvP in general. So in terms of the changes, it was mainly based on weapons. We got some changes to subclasses and then a few general stuff on PvP. So for the general stuff, the special ammo change, the fact that when you die you will lose all your special ammo and you will spawn with special ammo only at the very start of a match, but special ammo crates will spawn more quickly every 60 seconds so that you can pick them up more often. I think that's an interesting change. It probably will make more of an emphasis on primaries, which is what I prefer. I like having primary gunfights more often, so making primaries more prominent this way is pretty interesting. And then in terms of game modes like elimination, where there's rounds or Trials of Osiris, you will not spawn with special ammo in between rounds, so only at the very beginning, the very first round of the match you will spawn, and then you have to go pick up if you die in some of the middle rounds of the match. So that's going to be pretty interesting too for Trials, so I'm excited to see what that has to bring. And then in terms of changes to the weapons, I think majority of the changes are all pretty positive. The changes to the primaries in terms of increasing accuracy while in the air, I like that a lot. Being able to be more accurate while in the air is always going to be a benefit. And then in terms of some of the nerfs, we got the nerf to the low impact pulse rifles like Clever Dragon and Grassam Malik. I think that nerf is needed just because Clever Dragon was pretty dominant in its prime, and also the nerf to high caliber rounds as well, just because that with Clever Dragon is what made it very, very hard to challenge unless you're also using the same thing. So that's pretty good. And then we got a decrease in the magazine as well to those same archetype of pulse rifles. And then we saw a little bit of a buff to some of the higher impact pulse rifles like the Messenger or Spare Change and stuff like that. So that was pretty good. And then we saw a small buff to the auto rifles, specifically the low rate of fire auto rifles like Suros Regime. There were a few changes to hand cannons, which overall seems pretty decent, since they don't want it to be like a sniper where you can just pick people off across the map with hand cannons like how you could in year one with some of the exotic hand cannons. So I think overall it should be pretty decent. And then of course we got shotguns, which are getting a little bit of a nerf as well, so that's going to be pretty good. Decreasing your accuracy while in the air. Also the lack of aim assist when you're firing from the hip, stuff like that. and precision damage from shotguns being removed. So those are all pretty good, as well as the slower aim down sight when you have a rangefinder on your shotgun. So pretty good stuff overall in terms of changes to the weapons. And then lastly, some of the other changes that I wanted to go over was for some of the exotics like Truth. Truth is pretty powerful, so that probably needed to be adjusted in terms of tracking. I like the change to Shinobu's Vow because that can get pretty annoying, especially when you run into multiple Blade Dancers on the opposing team, because the tracking on those skip grenades can get pretty annoying at times, especially with multiple. And then the last thing I want to talk about is some of the changes to the subclasses. So Blink is going to be adjusted. They didn't really specify how yet, but we'll see in the official patch notes. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. And then they also talked about Hungering Blade now immediately grants health instead of regenerating health, and shields no longer regenerate on kill. So they're kind of adjusting Blade Dancers. I'm a little bit curious why, just because I felt like Blade Dancers were in a decent spot at the moment. It's not really good, it's not really bad. So it was in a decent spot, especially since year one when it was so dominant. So maybe Blade might be a little bit worse. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens after the hotfix comes out. And then, of course, everyone's favored the nerf to Stormcallers, especially the range on the melee, because that was very annoying at times to get killed by that. So those are some positives. Overall, I think most of the changes are going to be good or positive for Crucible. We'll see what happens to the meta after the hotfix finally comes out and we get to play. So that's about it for this video, though. Thank you guys for watching. As always, excited for Destiny 2 being confirmed for this year. Can't wait to hear more information on future content. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace!